Hey, what's happening, Black people? What's going on? My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins, and I decided that today I wanted to do something that I call Dr. Boyce Exposed. Dr. Boyce Exposed is something I do every now and then when I'm feeling kind of crazy on a Friday night, and it's basically where I answer any and all questions that you guys may have. Any question that you want to bring to the table, you can bring it, and I will answer it. And actually, I'm gonna grab my phone because I know that there are some questions I think some people may have left on Instagram, so I'll go answer those questions. The only thing I ask is that any question you bring, that it be respectful. You know, I mean, you got trolls and stuff, and I kind of feel sorry for the poor trolls. They don't have much of a life, and you got to pray for the Negro naysayer, pray for the backward Negroes, because the backward Negroes have nothing better to do on a Friday night other than to troll. But I like it when trolls speak because that tells me exactly who to block. So if you are a troll, please show yourself so I can make sure that I get your little monkey ass up out of here. All right, guys. So give me 1 second. I'm gonna grab my phone. Hold on. All right. Okay, so let me. All right, so let's get it cracking. I'm gonna try to answer every question in less than 60 seconds, and actually I'll put Dr. Boyce Exposed on the screen so that everybody knows what we're doing here. Dr. Boyce Exposed. All right, I'll put an exclamation point. That's an extra drama. There we go. All right. So let's see here. Okay, so I'm gonna put your question on the screen when I answer it. What's up, Frederick and Isaiah and Nathaniel? What are your top stocks? Let me see. I think that the stocks I bought today, I bought certain companies. What were the companies I bought? Because I bought some stay-at-home stocks. Amazon. I bought some Amazon. That's just a stable company. I like Disney long term. I also, let's see, what's another company I really liked? Hootsuite. I bought some Hootsuite. There's a lot of other companies out there that every week with the Black Stock Market Investing Club that we have in the Black Business School, I share all the stocks I'm buying that I like for that week. So if you're interested, you can do the first month free. It's the blackstockmarketprogram.com. Doesn't cost you anything. There's a money back guarantee. If you're not happy, just let us know. We'll give you your money back. But everybody loves it. And also, we're going to have a gathering of students that want to form investment clubs at the All Black National Convention. So if you haven't registered for that, you can get your hotel room at a discount. It's going to be at the end of October in Orlando. So you can go to abnchotel.com if you want to get your hotel room locked in now. All right, let's see here. Are interracial relationships anti-Black? I would say when it comes to interracial relationships, that's not something that I would personally do. But I tend to be more on the libertarian side, where I believe you can do whatever the hell you want as long as it works for you and it makes you happy. And so basically, whatever floats your boat, man, whatever makes you happy is what I say you do. And I'm not going to judge you for that. But for me, my identity is pretty Black, and I would not feel, comfortable, sitting here with a white wife, talking all this Black stuff. I think I'd have some explaining to do because one of the things about, sort of taking this role, the public role in the Black community is you got to kind of put your money where your mouth is, right? So my Blackness isn't just reflected by what I say, because there's a lot of people out here that talk a lot and don't do anything, right? It's also reflected heavily by what I do, more so by what I do. So the biggest investment I could ever make in my life is not my money, it's my time, it's my life itself, right? And I said, in order to be authentic to who I am, I have to invest that life in a Black family. If I had a white wife, I would not feel like I was the same man as I am with a Black wife. Now, my wife is high yellow, she's light skinned, but she's as Black as they come. She grew up in the hood, and she was probably poorer than everybody in this chat growing up. There's no poverty purity test you could pull that she probably couldn't pass, because believe me, she can match you pound for pound in broke ass Negro stories, because she did not have a lot of money growing up. And she knows that part of the Black experience very well. She just rose out of it through education and consistent investment. My wife had money before we got married, so believe me, when you get money, you can smell a gold digger from a mile away. And I'm sure, people on the internet had all these rumors about why she might have married me, but it wasn't because of money. It was because, because we were really cool. We were very close. And I was ready to make that move. And so was she. And it worked out for us. But seriously, though, it's a myth to think that being born poor means you can't rise out of that. That's bullshit. That's what people tell you to keep you poor. They want to keep you in a poverty mindset. That's the goal, because if they empower you, then you don't need them anymore, and they need you to need them. The white liberals need you to need them. All right, so let me see here. Next question. Let's see here. What does the middle class give wealth advice, but the rich doesn't? What wealth advice does the middle class give that the rich do not? I don't know exactly what that would mean, but I would know that I can tell you this: when it comes to being middle class, the number one factor that moves you from poverty to middle class is home ownership. Home ownership is a really big deal if you're trying to rise from lower class to middle class. If you're trying to go from middle class to upper class, it's stock market investing. That's what the data says. And so if you invest in the stock market, you have a very high likelihood. You've probably quadrupled your chances of reaching the upper class. What's the fastest way to turn 20,000 to 20K? Learn how to start a business. What do you think about the mandates for the shot? I'm not going to say the V word. It rhymes with Maxine. The mandates. I'm not a big fan of mandates, but that's what happens when you commit yourself to somebody's system. That's why I'm really big on telling you, especially for your sons, your daughters too, but black women fit a little bit better into the white supremacist system than black men do. Black men are seen as a threat. Straight black men are a threat. So I think you need to make sure your sons get in spaces where they can learn how to create alternative systems. Like the way I survive as this outspoken radical black man is I have other black men I can pick up the phone with who I can do business with. I'm friends with a lot of them. Some of them, you might see some of them throwing darts at me from a distance, but I'm cool with a lot of them. Everybody from Willie D to Ice Cube to the Wall Street Trapper to Jay Morrison to Lamar Tyler to the list goes on and on. I can't even think about all the brothers that are out there. Killer Mike, David Banner. I mean, there's a lot of people that I can do business with, and that becomes your shield of protection, right? So black men have to have our own cliques that are outside of the system, because the system's not built for a straight black man. If you're gay, then the rules are different. It could be like Lil Nas X go twerking in prison, and then they'll tell you that you're a genius. Are you still beefing with Mark Lamar Hill? Mark Lamar Hill's been beefing with me. I really don't beef with him. Mark could call me right now, and I will pick up the phone. And if he said, "Man, let's squash all this stuff," I'd be like, "Okay." I literally don't take it that personally. I don't understand these bitchy emotional men. I'm telling you. I think I actually. Scheherazade Ali hit the nail on the head. She said a lot of times when you have these men that are raised by their mama, they just get real emotional, and they can't. Like, I'm emotional too, but I can put it in a box. My father taught me you put that emotional shit in a box when it's time to start manning up again. And I learned that from him. My mother maybe would have taught me something different, but my father is the one who kind of helped me get away from that. So honestly, you see a lot of men, go check their backgrounds. A lot of the men that are real, like I'm mad at you. I've been mad at you for 10 years and I ain't never I'm going to be mad at you since you said something back in 2000. Guys like that, if you look back, most of them didn't have a daddy, and I'm not going to name them any names because I don't want to even get into that. But that's what it is. Like it really, most of these people, if they called me and said, I don't care if it's Kwame Brown or anybody, if they called me and said, you know what, man, my bad. We had this thing back and forth. I was mad that you said this, and I'd be like, oh, well, I was mad that you said that. Okay, why don't we be friends? Okay, bet, cool, let's be friends. I'm literally like that. I can literally do that with almost anybody. The only exceptions I have to make is when I feel like you've done something just seriously unethical to the point where I can't speak to you. But even then, I won't talk to you, but I won't necessarily feel the need to go out and keep fighting with you. I might just say, let's keep our distance because I don't feel comfortable in that space. But I'm telling you, you got a lot of really emotional, feminized men who just that they'll hold a grudge and they'll just act like women. It's very weird. I don't understand it. Let me see here. Do you think the constant money pumping will lead to hyperinflation? Yeah, I think it could. Kathy Wood believes that crypto is a good hedge against inflation because of the restricted supply, and I do agree with her. Do you have kids, Dr. Boyce? Yes, I have one biological daughter. I have many god kids. And I've just picked them up along the way. I felt, again, when I talk about investing in the Black community, I started investing with my time before I started investing with my money. I've invested millions of dollars in the Black community. I paid millions of dollars to Black people. I don't talk about it, but that's happened. Everything I do isn't just me. It's like a whole team of people. But also, before I invested money, I invested time. Back in Louisville, Kentucky, the city where Breonna Taylor lived and everything, I used to coach a track team in Louisville. I was the assistant coach of the West Side Track Club in Louisville 20 years ago. And and I loved it. I loved working with the kids. I love that temporary substitute dad role because I always wanted to be a dad. I wanted to raise my daughter in my house. It just didn't work out that way because life just doesn't work out sometimes. But I wanted that. And the truth is that, you know, when I hear like, I don't agree with everything that a Kevin Samuel says about some of the issues going on with relationships. I don't, but I do understand the frustrations a lot of men feel because I felt some of those same frustrations. I felt like, man, like, gosh, you know, I just want to get married and have a regular life and raise my kids. And it was really like a scary thing to think, gosh, if I do anything wrong, this person could put me out of the house and put me away from my children. And then all she's got to do is say, well, he was abusive or whatever, and everybody's going to believe her, even if it's not true. And that used to bother me because I felt like things were really stacked against the black man. And I think it's completely unfair. And I wish people would listen to black men more, but they don't. And so it's just life. And so I didn't get to have more kids, but I've always been very happy to take kids under my wing. Like a lot of you have kids that are in my Black Business School for Children, which, by the way, it's at blackmillionairesoftomorrow.com. If you want to take a look, it's a great program. And I love it. I love the idea of being able to influence children because children really are the future. And I encourage you to consider that and to realize in the black community, what we need is we need a bailout of fatherhood. We have a shortage of fathers. We need all hands on deck. We need all the men that want to step in and be temporary daddies. Every football coach, every track coach, every guy, every mentor at the community center, every scout leader, every black man who gives a shit about the future of the community. If you see a child that doesn't have a daddy, step in and be the daddy. You ain't got to do it forever. You ain't got to go marry their mama. You ain't got to go and live in the house. You ain't got to move the dude into your crib. Just say something positive to that child. You know, give that child some advice, give that child some guidance, you know, help him straighten his back up, give him some confidence. Right. And I like doing that. I love that. To me was something that's really personal to me. And so did I have children? I didn't have any more biological kids, but I got a lot of kids. The kids are in my house. That's my responsibility. I took them in proud. I don't even call myself a stepdad. People say, why would you want to be a stepdad? Well, I'm not a fucking stepdad. I'm a dad. Okay. So I took these kids in my arms. And these are my children, and you can't tell me no different. So that's just what it is, man. And I think it's the greatest joy you'll ever have as a human being. You know, I have had all the other trappings that men have. I've had the money, I've had the fame, I've had the women chasing you and all that. I've seen all that. And I'm telling you, like, family is just the best. Like, it's real, it's solid, it's gonna be there for you, you know. And I don't want it to be any other way. So I'm very happy with that choice. And I encourage every guy that's hearing all the stuff that's happening, find you, figure out who you are in this whole process and be confident in that. Like, really, you know, pound your chest on it. Like, don't let other people and what they're talking about convince you to live a lifestyle that's different from the life you want to live. Like one thing I noticed was that when I was younger, I saw a lot of men that would just go sleep with a pretty girl just because a pretty girl offered him some ass, right? He would be like, well, she cute, man. You should have hit that. You stupid for not hitting that. I'm like, why would I want to go put my penis into any disease-infested vagina that happens to be walking by? Are you kidding me? Like, no, I don't want to do that. No, I need to get to know this woman because she's getting a chance to lay down with Boyce Watkins. That's significant. This is my legacy on the line. This is my reputation. This is my health on the line. You got to earn this, right? And I don't see a lot of men thinking that way. They're like, oh, she was cute, dog. You should have hit that, dog. I don't operate on that frequency. That's not an intelligent frequency. That's a frequency that's going to get you caught up in a stupid situation and you can't get out. So you have a lot of people that are just trained to be stupid. You're trained to dumb yourself down. Don't let people do that to you. Be proud of who you are. Be you. All right. So I'm going to change my microphone, actually. I don't know if it'll make a difference in whether or not you all can hear me, but I'm going to ask everybody to go quick. As you hit the thumbs up button, please, let's do a quick mic check. I switched my microphone over. Do I sound, am I coming through clear? Can you hear me okay? Let me know. So that way I can know if it works. Let's see here. Stock market projection for August 2022. All looks good on the stock market right now. The stock market looks solid. Thank you, Austin. I appreciate that. Everything looks pretty good on the market right now. You know, all indicators are pointing upward. Corporate earnings are super high. There's an inflationary risk right now going on. So people are wondering how inflation is going to play out. There's also the Delta variant. Nobody knows how that's going to end. But there's not going to be a shutdown. They're not going to shut down this economy. The number of deaths from the Delta variant could literally be triple the original pandemic. They ain't shutting down, because they found that the the cure was worse than the damn disease. That literally when they did the cure, when they're fixing the problem, it was like that radiation treatment when people get cancer and the radiation actually kills the cancer patient. It was kind of like that here. So I don't think they're going to shut down. I think they're going to just learn to live with it and say, look, a few people might die. 1 out of every 500 people might die, but the other 499 people are going to live. And I'm not even mad at them for that. What message do you give men to build wealth? Basically, know where the wealth is. There's 4 steps to becoming wealthy in America. You ready? Y'all ready? 4 steps. And I talked about this the other day with PJ Washington, the guy that got the Instagram model pregnant and was kind of mad about it because she's going to get all his money because she's very strategic. 4 steps. 1, figure out where the money's at. Most people don't have any money because they don't even know where money is. Like if you ask them, well, how do people get rich in America? They can't even tell you. They'll be like, oh, I don't know. They sign a record deal. No, they don't. People sign record deals all the time. They don't get rich. Rihanna did not become a billionaire with a record deal. Rihanna did not become a billionaire with a record deal. Rihanna became a billionaire with a with product development and leveraging her brand into a space where she was able to monetize it at a very high level, at a Kardashian type level. That's why all the Kardashians are billionaires now. Number 1, find out where the money's at. Number 2, make a plan to get the money. A lot of people don't make a plan. If you don't make a plan to succeed, then why would you expect anything other than epic failure? I mean, seriously, the only way you'll succeed is by accident. And even then, it's only temporary success because eventually some smart person's going to come along and take your money anyway because you're not financially aware enough to protect what you have, which goes to step 3. Step 3 is work your plan. Wealth is nothing more than an accumulation process. No different from snow accumulation that occurs in the wintertime. When it starts snowing, 1 little snowflake is nothing. 1,000 snowflakes are nothing. But trillions of snowflakes that fall during a snowstorm, that becomes an accumulation. That's what wealth is. It's literally thousands of consistent actions and steps that you take throughout your life that are consistently aimed in the direction of the accumulation of resources and assets. That's where rich people come from. It's no different from when you were 7 and you had that friend that used to save his allowance money and he always had more money than everybody else. How did he become the rich kid in the house if he makes $10 a week or $20 a week or whatever, like everybody else? You know what I'm talking about. Give me a yes or no. Do you remember the kid who always had all the money or your sibling maybe who always had money? They always had their allowance money because they were anal retentive and didn't want to spend it. Everybody else would run to the candy store. They would hold on to their money. That's because they were engaged in an accumulation process. That's it. So step 1, figure out where the money's at. Step 2, make a plan to go get it. Step 3, execute that plan. A lot of people that don't have wealth don't engage in any form of consistent wealth building exercise. So it's no surprise they have no money. Number 4, you must protect the wealth you have. Once you get the lead in the basketball game, you got to defend the lead. If you can't defend what you have, then you're going to lose it. That means economic intelligence is paramount. That means economic awareness is paramount. When people talk about being woke, they don't talk about being financially woke. A lot of people talk about being woke, don't know nothing about woke. You so woke that you a damn joke. They use the word woke and don't even know what it means. You literally are having a dream that you woke up. You ever go to sleep and have a dream that you got up and got ready for school and whatever, and then you realize that you were sleeping the whole time? Well, we got a whole lot of people that are just sleepwalking. They're like fake woke. Fake wokeness is at an all-time high. And God bless those fake woke people because they think they woke because they they scream Black Lives Matter or they participated in an Al Sharpton march or something. No. Woke is just awareness. It's like this. Like I'm drinking coffee right now. Right? I'm woke. I know what's going on, right? I have awareness, right? I have economic vision. Basketball player, and LeBron has court vision. He can see everything happening on the court. Like in a Space Jam, the guy, his son made a funny face behind him. He said, boy, don't think I didn't see your face. I got perfect court vision, right? He's got awareness. That's what wokeness is. Wokeness is awareness. It's being alert. It's being conscious, right? So are you economically conscious? That's the question you must ask. When I talk about entertainers and athletes, those are fun, easy targets to discuss, not because I'm making fun of them, but because there is an anti-woke culture that is heavily marketed to them. It's a culture that's riddled with drugs. Drugs do not make you more alert. Typically, they make you less alert, unless like cocaine or something. But even then, you become a slave to the drug, so you're not really able to make sound decisions. So there's a culture of kind of addictions, chasing things, chasing women, chasing materialism, whatever, right? And what happens is they put that in front of you, they dangle it in front of you because they're like, here, boy, look over here, boy, look at all that booty over there. Oh, boy, look, and look, we pulled up in a foreign, dog, and look, he got them chains, dog. He shining, dog, right? And then the whole time, your little accountant, your little that little Jewish lawyer you got, little Abraham Rothenstein is sitting there and he's carefully taking little fees out of your out of your big ass NBA contract. And because you high and drunk all the time and chasing women and busy doing only God knows what, you don't even know the little Abraham Rothenstein don't put all his kids through Harvard off of your monkey ass because you're not financially aware. You don't know what's going on. You don't even know what to look for because you spent all your time learning how to dribble basketball, but you never spent any time learning how economics works. Right? That happens all the time. The gold diggers do it. That I like the PJ Washington story a lot with Brittany Renner. Go look it up. It's really interesting. I like that story not because I want to make fun of PJ. I don't, because he's young. I feel bad for the poor guy. But it really was an exact prototype of exactly the way I like to teach economics. I'm like, look at her. Look at how strategic she is. She's giving women the game. Like, if you ever want to come off a check on a man, just get pregnant by an athlete. They're dumb, right? And so she's strategic about it. So, and he's not strategic about it. He's like, oh, her big butt and a smile. You pretty girl. I'll get the, she let me hit that door. Right? Next thing you know, she's literally set up for life. Like she's literally going to get millions of dollars out of this deal. Now she's probably got diseases and stuff because she's nasty or whatever. Right. So, but that's whatever. That's her choice. But still though, it's like, yeah, that's life. Like that's kind of how things work. That's how things have worked. But since the beginning of time, you got to be alert. You got to be aware. You got to know how to protect your wealth. If you can't protect it, you're not going to keep it, period. All right. So let me see. What do you think about the monoclonal antibodies being administered in homes to COVID positive people and also given passes? I don't know nothing about that, honey melanated. I wish I could answer that question. That is a tough question. Franquel says, how do I start investing? Go to firstshareofstock.com. If you want free information from the Black Business School, go to firstshareofstock.com. I will email you relentlessly, and every email I send you is designed to do a couple of things. One, to convince you to be a part of what we're doing, and then two, to make sure your life is better because you heard from me. I do not reach out to you because I just want to be famous or I just want to say I have a big social media following. I reach out to you because I want you to be able to turn to me when you see me on the street, and I want you to say, my life is better because you came in it. So I'm not a guy, I'm not a comedian here to just tell you funny jokes. I'm not somebody that's here to just give you celebrity gossip or whatever and waste your time on social media. I'm here to be a person where you say, man, my life is better because this dude was in it and I was getting something from him that maybe I didn't get from my dad. Maybe I didn't get this from my teachers. Maybe I'm not getting this from society. I'm not getting this from media. And that's what I believe a man does. I think that the goal, if any young guys listening, I think one goal you may want to consider for manhood is very simple. Try to make sure that the people in your life are better off because you're there, right? Like look at their lives and say, how can I make their lives better? You ain't got to save everybody. Don't get into that Captain Save a Whole mode or whatever. That'll drain you. Some people can't be saved because they're too gone. But add value. Like that's it. Add value. And what does that mean? Well, that means at the very least not doing harm. Right? A lot of men, when they're not conscious, when they're not woke as what it means to be a father, what it means to be a man, they do harm to other people and don't even realize that they're harming others. Right? Because if I'm all stuck on my ego and what I want, like, so for example, if I say, man, F these single moms, man, F you and your kids, I'm here for the pussy, man. I don't care nothing about these damn kids, right? Maybe there's a better way for you to express your individual freedom and right to choose who you want to date. Like, that's fine. You can, if that's not your thing, that's fine. Right? Because kids are expensive and they take patience and it's not everybody's cup of tea, but my God, do you have to hurt people's feelings in the process? Like, do you have to really go out of your way to tell Black women, many of whom are good people who are doing their best, that their lives are worthless, that they're garbage because they made a mistake or because they have kids, because they're doing the very important, very sacred job of raising children. When you had a mama that sacrificed her life for you, like, and that's the other thing too, how can you talk bad about single moms when you might have been raised by one? A lot of these guys were raised by a single mom. And it's just kind of like, can't you find a more respectful way to say what you got to say that doesn't hurt people's feelings and doesn't leave our children, Black children in your community, feeling neglected, disrespected, dismissed, and wasted? These children are not a waste just because they don't have a daddy. Sometimes it ain't even their fault. I didn't have a daddy. It wasn't my fault. I was just here. I didn't know what was going on, right? So so it bothered me. It was unfair. I didn't even know this was happening. I'm glad I didn't. But when my father married my mother, he got some resistance from people in his family. Like, why are you marrying this lady who's got this baby? That's not your baby, right? And my father was man enough to say, this is the woman I want, and I'm marrying her, and this is my son. And if you disagree with me, I'm gonna bust your ass, right? Like, I'm not allowing you cause me to stray away from my perception of this whole situation, what it's going to be. And I honor that, not because I'm telling other people to do it. Not every man is built that way. Some men want to do something different. That's fine. Do what you want. Do you. But that meant a lot to me, because there were a lot of people when I was a kid who rejected me because I didn't have a father, and it was not my fault. Right. So I just kind of think we have to have a little more compassion in our conversations, as opposed to just simply trying to, repeat what we heard somebody say on the internet. That's the other interesting thing, is a lot of people just, they'll say the same thing, because I'll see all the comments, right? And I'll be like, wow, so Kevin Samuels must have said one thing and all you guys are repeating the same thing he said. At least be man enough to have your own ideas, man. Formulate your own perspective. Don't stop putting people on a pedestal. Don't even put me on a pedestal. Don't go just repeating what I said. Like, think about it. Make it fit for you. Right. So anyway, let me keep going. Should you work on debt or investing first? Ron, it kind of just depends. It depends on the situation. I would definitely have a savings, like emergency savings, but you can even have that in the stock market as long as you have stable, safe stocks that you have it in. But because the stock market is pretty liquid, I don't think it's overly risky to have your money in stocks, especially if they're good companies. But I think I liked investing first, because if you have a ton of debt and like a student loan debt, first of all, the interest rates on student loan debt isn't very high, so you can leave that debt on the books for a long time. It's not a big deal, to be honest with you, in my view. And then secondly, if you have a lot of debt, I don't know if you want to, like some people, if you're making 50 grand a year and you have 200,000 in debt, and you realize it's going to take you 35 years to pay off that debt, or 25 years, why in the hell would you want to sit there for 25 years and grow old paying off debt before you really get to start living your life? I didn't want to do that. I was like, hell no, I'm gonna live my life. Like, we'll get to the debt when we get to it later. And I took a chance, and it worked out. Now, I had enough money where I could pay my student loans like that, right? Because I was making a lot more money, because my gamble paid off in terms of going on my own and doing what I wanted to do. But the money wasn't the best part. The best part was I got fulfillment. I was very happy with my life. And I think that we underestimate the importance of happiness. Money matters, but money is a tool for happiness. The Holy Grail is the happiness, right? So don't let the money get in the way of the happiness, okay? Let's see. Live, laugh, love says, I love it. Backward Negroes. Yeah. Oh, yeah. The Negro naysayers. That's what I call them. They're the Negroes that have a problem for every solution. So whenever they see something good happening in the black community, they're like, the black people making progress. We got to tear them down. Get them Negroes. Get them. Tear it down. Burn the business down. We don't want, Negro, what you talking about, boy? Like, you really have to really self-hating black people out here. It's really crazy. The mental illness is 100% real. And the Negro naysayers are everywhere. Some of them are in your own family. Some of y'all are married to a Negro naysayer. And I'm just telling you that, that's what we need a vaccine for. We need to get, we need to get Moderna to make a shot to vaccinate y'all against the Negro player haterologists, okay? The Negro naysayers. I mean, that's what we need, a shot. I would take that shot in a minute. Give me 2, please, because I need to be vaccinated against whatever has infected the brains of some of y'all Negroes, because y'all shit is rotted. I don't want to be around any of that. So no, but just know you are in a quarantine space. The Negro naysayers, I love it when they speak in the chat, because that tells me exactly who to block. I used to debate with them. You don't debate with them. It ain't gonna work. I used to get mad. You don't get mad, because that's what they really want. Now I just see it. I'm like, thank you for identifying yourself. Boom, you're gone, right? It's no different from removing. If somebody stepped in and I knew they were a Klansman, I would remove a Klansman in a minute. So some of the only difference between the Negro naysayer and the Klansman is the Negro naysayer is actually worse and does more damage. So just learn how to laugh and pray for them. Forgive them, for they know not what they do. And who knows, maybe their approach is better than your approach. Just let them go live their life and don't worry about it. But that will literally drain you for life, is arguing with ridiculous, desperate, pathetic Negroes. Like, just don't even engage yourself with that nonsense. All right. So anyway, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button, hit the share button, hit the subscribe button. And I want to let you guys know something. I forgot about this. Jeff Lightsey Jr. tomorrow, Saturday the 14th, has a great interview on the blackbosschannel.com with Ronnie Baker, who ran in the Olympics. Ronnie Baker is actually out of my hometown of Louisville, Kentucky. And he was the second fastest man on earth. He didn't do so well at the Olympics. He got 5th in the final. It was real disappointing, because I thought Ronnie was going to win, but it's okay though, because Ronnie's still the man. He's still my favorite track athlete. And I'm really excited because he actually was on the track team that I was captain of in high school. Like, I was the captain of the Ballard High School track team 20 years later, Ronnie ran on that same track team. So I'm super proud of him, and I can't wait to see the interview. So if you want to see the interview with Jeff and Ronnie, subscribe to the blackbosschannel.com. And he's a good dude, smart guy, real humble. And I mean, and also, like I said, literally one of the fastest human beings in history. I think he might have run maybe one of the top 10 fastest 100-meter dash times ever. And so he's absolute badass as an athlete. I would have given anything to be that fast. So the blackbosschannel.com is where you can subscribe. I think they do it tomorrow morning, Saturday morning at I think 10 a.m., something like that. So feel free to check that out. All right. So let me see here. Racism works best when Black people perpetuate it. Frederick, you got that right. You're 100% right. Let's see here. Next question. Hey, Dr. Boyce. Jaime says, oh, Jaime, my man, what do you think about crowdfunding investment? I think crowdfunding is really hard. I really do. I've seen some people succeed at it. More people fail than succeed. I would say there might be other ways to invest. I'm more of a fan of bootstrap investing, where you invest small amounts of money and just build your company small and grow it. Sorry, I'm trying to forgive me. I feel like I have something on my nose, but I'm live streaming in front of hundreds of people. I don't want to. Am I okay? I think I'm good. Okay. So anyway, but yeah, I don't like crowdfunding. I mean, Lene Jabet was really good at it. She actually has a class on crowdfunding, but I've never done it in terms of wanting to do it. And then also when you do crowdfunding, you got to think about the terms of the crowdfund. I've seen it go awkward in a lot of different ways. Like I've seen the Sean King Umar Johnson version of crowdfunding, right? Where you get a bunch of followers and you ask them to make donations. And I think that the risk of that model is that you're asking people to give you something for pretty much nothing. Like you're giving them, a good speech, which is fine, right? I think that Umar and Sean add value in certain ways. Some ways are a little bit iffy, but they do add. They're smart guys. And but I think this kind of like constantly saying, "Here's my Cash App, give me money in my Cash App." I think that becomes a little bit tiring for some people. And then also, if you make a commitment, where Sean and Umar got in trouble, is they both promised to create something, and people donated for them to create something, and they didn't deliver what they promised. According to their critics, right? This is not a Sean King Umar bash fest at all, but it's just something that people have debated. I think that's a little risky. I think they probably could have done better to create a product. So I hear Sean King has a clothing line or something. I think that's fine. I think he has a right to have a clothing line. He's got 4 million followers. Why not? That's what I would have told him from the beginning. I'd be like, okay, take on, so let people donate. You got the big celebrities giving you big money or whatever. But also when you make a promise, you got to really deliver on what you say you're going to do. Like, for example, when I tell you guys about the All Black National Convention, that's going to happen. And if it doesn't happen, I will feel like I owe you an explanation. I will break down for you, especially those who support it. This is what happened. This is what we're doing to fix it. This is where we are right now. And that sort of accountability is really important when it comes to money. Now, when you go to the other side, though, you had Jay Morrison with the Tulsa Fund. And again, not criticizing any of that. I thought the Tulsa Fund was epic. I was an investor. I put money in. I don't regret it. I've been to the Black House. I love it. Jay's my friend. I respect the family. I know that people aren't perfect, and everybody has a right to ask any question they want. But I've talked about it earlier, and I said that there should be tiers, though, in terms of your right to ask a question. Now, if you're a person who didn't support anything, your voice, to me, should not be heard as much as the person who really put a lot of money on the line. So if you got an investor that dropped $5,000, $1,000, $10,000 into the fund, and they're asking questions, I did say to Jay directly, and he heard this. He heard this completely. I said, make sure you're having those shareholder meetings. Let people know what's happening. And I think smart people are going to get it. I know I got it, because when all the criticism came down on the Tulsa Fund, they started getting investigated by the SEC and the FBI, because they were like, well, when there's smoke, maybe there's fire. So people complaining, like people like Yvette Carnell and Tone, what's his face, who haven't really built anything of substance for the Black community. Honestly, they don't employ Black people. They don't know how to do that, I don't think. When they were saying these things, they started investigating, and they did a really thorough investigation. Like, that investigation was really a pain in the butt. Like, it cost $100,000 to defend yourself against that kind of thing. And they went through thousands of documents and they cleared them. They said, okay, no wrongdoing, nothing to see here. And I feel like that should have been enough, right? But for some people, it'll never be enough. It doesn't. Jesus and God themselves could both come down from heaven and say, this was perfectly fine. This is just as legitimate as every other business that's in the Black community. You're just focused on him because he's Black. Whereas there are 10,000 white businesses that, some of whom may be doing something shady that you're not even paying attention to because you've been trained to really focus on your own, right? You're focusing on him, but you're kind of racially profiling your own businesses. A lot of Black people racially profile Black businesses. This is not me saying that all these businesses are perfect, right? At all. But it's a thing that says that I believe that a Black man running a business in the Black community has almost no room to make a mistake. I follow white mutual funds all the time, white investment advisors a lot, white companies a lot. They mess up all the time. They do stuff that you look at it, you're like, ooh, that might be illegal, right? And I rarely see that get the same amount of energy, traction, anger, hostility as it does when a Black person has done something like that. And I just kind of think we have to at least be balanced. And I'm resigned to this idea that you just have segments of people. You got people that are just jealous and mad and destructive and just hate whatever you're doing because it's not theirs, because they're not doing it. The Negro naysayer is also very competitive. He's the competitive Negro, right? Like if I'm a man and you're doing something that I'm not doing, I don't want to work with you. I'd rather sit back and hate on you because I'm in a competitive mindset, which says that in order for me to win, I must destroy you, right? We learned that during slavery. But then you've got people that ask legitimate questions, right? People who say, look, I'll put some money into what you're doing. I'll support your business, but I really need you to tell me what's going on with my money. I really want to know what's happening. And I can be patient with you, but I kind of need to know that everything's good. And then if I don't feel like it's good, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take my money. I'm going to go elsewhere. Right. That's it. Like that's the other point, too, to remember is that you have the right to not support a Black business that you don't like. If you don't like the way they're doing business, there's a million Black businesses I've been offered to participate in where I've been like, nah, I don't trust the founder. I don't trust the model. I don't think this is going to work. I don't want to be a part of this. Right. And that's OK to do that. But I don't think we have to be super destructive in the process. Like that anger, that extra hostility, that lynch mob mentality. That's kind of like, it reminds me, it's like some Emmett Till-ish type stuff. Now, one of the things I would say, and I would say this publicly, but I would also say this privately to Jay, because actually I know Jay, and I know a lot of these, mostly everybody that's doing the financial stuff. A lot of them know me, I know them, right? Because remember, I was doing this 15 years ago, right? So for some of these guys, I was the first one. So they kind of learned some stuff from watching me, and I love it. I love seeing. This was my dream. My dream was to change the culture. My dream was to see Black people take wealth building as a primary descriptor of what it means to be Black. I said one day I dreamed that, like Dr. King had a dream about little white girls and little Black boys holding hands. I don't give a shit about holding hands with a white girl. I never did when I had the opportunity. I cared about seeing Black people really taking on this wealth thing and solving our own problems. And I'll be damned if that's not happening. I mean, when I see what they're doing, when I see Earn Your Leisure, I'm like, yes. When I see Wall Street Trapper, I'm like, yes. When I see Jay Morrison, I'm like, yes. When I see BWO and Brother Ben X, I'm like, yes. Like, this is what we need. I was like, man, I want teammates, because I was out there. I really didn't have anybody with a big platform that was kind of saying the same things, So to see it happening on a bigger scale, I feel like I had some part in it. I didn't do it all by myself. I'm not Jesus, but to play some part in that is that was the point where I got in my life where I said, I could die tomorrow and I would know that I made an impact on this earth. Like, that's my little selfish private dream. My dream is, like, my wife calls me the juggernaut. She says, every room that you go into, I know that you were there. You always have an impact. Like, she'll say, I'll come in the room, your shoes will be over here, your clothes will be on the floor, the bed will be messed up, and there'll be a bag of chips on the counter. She said, everywhere you go, I know that you're always there. And I said, I think subconsciously that's a part of just who I am. I leave an impact. And every place I've ever been, University of Kentucky, Ohio State, Syracuse, etc., I always left an impact. And I don't know where that comes from. It's probably some dysfunction from childhood or something. I have no idea. But literally, that's what I wanted to do. And when I saw the impact happening and saw people repeating the things that we talk about on this platform all the time, that was when I was like, okay, thank you, God. I can be done now. Don't get me wrong. I hope I do this another 40 years. But if I die tomorrow, just know, like, I would totally die with a smile on my face, because I know that I've played my little tiny role in the whole process. Because Black people are going to fucking win. B1 people are going to win, not all Black people. Some Black people are going to lose. Some people just want to be losers, and they're determined to be losers. And I don't give it. I'm not saying I don't care. I wish the best for them, but they're not going to listen. They're going to fight you all day. I ain't got time for that. But B1 people are going to be ahead of the Jews. Like your children and grandchildren are going to be ahead of everybody. And I'm super excited about it. So it's like we built a super black, like, you know, you build a better black person, you build a Superman. Like, we built blackness 2.0. And I believe that that's going to come to define the people that control the next generation. That's just my 2 cents. That's what I believe. And that's what I'm saying. All right. So let's see here. Why do you think black people still support that white boy Sean King? I don't know if he's a white boy or not. I don't know. I don't think about it or not. I mean, a lot, honestly. I never gave Sean any money, but I never hated him, right? I just kind of would observe. And I don't understand why people hate him so much, right? I can understand people saying, I don't want to be a part of it. I don't, you know, whatever. But the fact that people just hate him, really troll him, I don't get that part. I don't think he deserves that, honestly. But I'm not here to be a defender of Sean King. And I've told you guys that my personal interaction with him wasn't all that good. He was supposed to come on the platform and he agreed, and then he didn't show up. And that stuck to the point where I was making earlier. Like, man, if you say you're gonna do something, bro, you got to do it. You know, because I don't have a Sean King level platform, but I have a platform. I got about 1 million total followers on YouTube, and I tell the truth about what my experience is. And so when I saw that, I was like, okay, well, you know, I mean, because sometimes when white people start to love you and embrace you, you start to think that you can ignore black people, you know. And I'm like, well, okay, I'm not a person who's necessarily in your corner or out of your corner. I would be fair to Sean, right? And I would just ask him fair questions and let him give me honest answers. And so for him to kind of just ghost us like that kind of bothered me a little bit, because we followed back up. I said, because we had it all scheduled. I told everybody, and then my producer said, oh, well, he's sick. And I said, okay, well, when's he going to be better? Like, is he dying? And she reached back out 3 times, and she said they never got back with us. So that was a clear, deliberate decision to avoid the interview. And I don't know if he thought I was going to attack him or roast him. Maybe that was it, but I wasn't. I was literally just like, okay, let's just talk. Like, tell me what you're doing. Because I think that you're better off when you try to find common ground with people anyway. I really think that we sometimes, maybe when people are over competitive or over triggered, they will find a reason to fight another black person. And I would rather just not do that. I ain't trying to be fighting black people if I ain't got to. That's exhausting. All right. So anyway, let me see. Next question. What do you think about Biden so far? I don't think about it. I don't think Biden's doing anything for black people. Let's see here. We can't leave any of our people behind. Some of our people are choosing to leave themselves behind. So it's not even up to you. You just do what's best for you and your family and try to help. If someone wants help, help them. But if somebody's just running their mouth, you know, and trying to disrupt, just, you know, it is what it is. Just Bezos says, I believe in you. I think you're awesome. Well, I think you're awesome too for those kind words. Thank you. I love that, Queen. Okay, you're talking about my wife. I would tell her you said that. Thank you. Emotional intelligence is utterly lacking within a lot of men and women. Yes, it is. Yeah, emotional intelligence is a big deal. Like, that's something that you should be very conscious and intentional of studying that. Like, read books, watch videos on it, on how to kind of make your emotions work for you. Like, I'm an emotional guy, but I try to have enough awareness to know when my emotions are helping me and when they're hurting me. So there's some situations where it's better to be unemotional, right? Let it go. Focus on the big picture, right? You know, but then there's times where it's like, no, let loose, you know, let your spirit guide you. And I think that's okay. All right. So let's see here. Somebody says, oh, all right. Why don't we have any famous black atheists? I have an ex-girlfriend who's an atheist, and she does stuff on YouTube, but I'm not gonna say her name because I don't want to open up that can of worms. I respect her though. She's very smart, and you know, she wasn't my wife, but you know, she was a cool lady. All right, so let's see. Andrew Durham says, why does the middle class feel like they should work for a living to be successful? Because that's what we're trained to do as a child. Derek, what's your opinion about the Acorn app? I like it. I use it. I think it's a great app in terms of getting started. Nothing wrong with that. Let's see. Next question. Cardano. I love Cardano. Woo! Yeah, Cardano is a cryptocurrency that has been blowing up. Cardano, I think, has risen maybe 40% this month. And I bought it because one of the experts in our Black Crypto Club mentioned it. And I said, oh, I should buy more Cardano. So I bought some more right there on the spot. I like to just do stuff right then. And great investment decision. My gosh, it was excellent. And so, and by the way, we do have a crypto investing club. If you'd like to join us, just go to theblackcryptoclub.com, THE, theblackcryptoclub.com. The first 2 weeks are actually free, and you can try it out and see if you like it. Theblackcryptoclub.com. All right. So Edwin Kidd says, hello, new to the platform. What's the best place to start investing for starter investors? Go to firstshareofstock.com. I have a free training there. And also you get a lot of stuff from me in email that'll get you started. I'll show you how to do more stuff for free than your university showed you, even though they charge you a whole lot more money, because it's not that hard to get someone started investing in the stock market. And that's my area of specialty. I wrote my dissertation on it. So if you're new to the platform, then welcome. And I'm glad you're here and I hope you like it. And just be prepared though. Like I'm probably going to say something that's going to get on your nerves and make you mad. And if you can withstand that, then we can be friends, because I'm going to always challenge your thinking, not because I'm right, but because we're not the same and it's okay to be different. Let's see here. Somebody says not all gay men are like Lil Nas X and most get treated horrible if you maintain a masculine outlook and demeanor. Yeah. I think that Lil Nas X is not a friend to the gay community, because I know gay men who don't feel like they have to go and twerk in prison and spread their butt cheeks out on TV in order to be gay. Just because you have a sexual preference, that does not mean that your sexual preference needs to be the first thing that I know about you. Because what you're doing is, when you make everything about what you want to do in the bedroom, you're dehumanizing yourself. You're reducing yourself to nothing more than a sexual being, a sexual object. All of us are sexual beings. Almost all of us are. Some of us are even asexual or whatever. It's totally fine. Some of y'all might want to lay down and have sex with a raccoon. I mean, that's your damn business. I don't need to know that when I meet you. I don't need that to be the first thing I know about you. Right now, I get that. I get that maybe that, there's overcompensation because we have treated people in the LGBT community unfairly. I think that we go a little bit overboard. Like I have people. I have gay people in my family, and one of my adopted kids is LGBT, and I didn't like the way her family responded. Like they kind of hit her over the head with the Bible a little bit, and I felt like that's a little bit of overkill, because it made her feel worse about what she was already going through, the confusion she was already feeling, and I think that that's unfair. I think it's horrible. I think we need to stop, but at the same time, I don't really want to hear nothing about what you're doing in the bedroom. And I don't want you telling my children what you're doing in the bedroom. Stop talking to 8-year-olds about pumping some dude in the butt. Like, kids don't need to hear all that shit. So that's the problem I have with the Lil Nas X stuff. And he's marketing that to children. They are molesting kids mentally. And it's something that I think people should speak out about. I really do. All right, so let me see here. Next question. Ethereum. Yes, Ethereum's great. I invest most of my money in Bitcoin and Ethereum. There are lots of other cryptos, but those are the top two. And those are the two I like the most. VinX, what should Black people be focused on more than anything? Well, we believe in what we call the Black Core of Three. The Black Core of Three says that Black people should educate our own children, create our own jobs, and support Black businesses. That if we educate our own children, create our own jobs, and support Black businesses, we can be successful at almost anything, because then you're getting rid of all the brainwashing that's going on, that's causing you to become a white supremacist without even knowing it. A lot of our people become like damn near like double agents. They're almost like, you ever see those spy movies where somebody's a secret agent and they don't even know it, right? They think that they're patriotic when really they were actually a Russian spy, but they were brainwashed and hypnotized into forgetting that they were about their original programming. That's what Black people are. Like, some of us think that we are pro-Black when really we're very pro-white. Like, we think that we are fighting for Black excellence when really we're fighting for white supremacy. And that it was shown in that Wall Street Journal article where they showed how more Black people going to college and going to big white universities to, improve their condition as a community, that they were actually adding to the wealth gap, that the wealth gap between whites and Blacks was growing because so many Black people are going so deep in debt in college so they can go to a big white university. So it's not like you're going in debt to a Black university, right? We got the Black Business School. That's a Black university, right? But unfortunately, because of the racism, people don't see, even though we're better at what we do, we understand Black wealth better than any university or HBCU in the country. People still have a hard time. We have to convince them of that, right? And you have to be in there, and then but before you're like, oh, well, wait a minute, the white man didn't certify you, so you must not be real, right? But so not only are you, so it's one thing if you were going in debt to a Black-owned company and keeping the money in the community, but you're going in debt to a white-run university that doesn't even hire Black people, that already extracts about $10 billion a year out of the Black community from their athletics programs, and they turn around, they don't hire Black people. And so that's the first rope-a-dope. And then after that, you're being sent over to work for a white person. So it's literally like they're passing you around like an economic hoe. Like they're literally saying, I milked this economic hoe for 4 years of college. I got 150K out of them. I did a shakedown. Now I'm going to pass them over to you so that you can keep milking this economic hoe. Forgive the language, but it's Friday night. I'm going to be honest with you. You can milk the economic hoe by having them come and become your employee, because you're trained to be inferior. You're trained to be subordinate. You know, there are families. Did y'all know that there are families out here where they don't even talk about their children working for other people? They don't even have that conversation. They consider that to be beneath them. They're like, why would I be somebody's employee? I'm not going to be nobody's employee. And when you tell people that, people think that you're job shaming, because people don't want to have their ideas challenged. They don't want to feel bad about the choices they made because they're so convinced that these are the right choices. But seriously though, you know, you go to Harvard and Yale and you got some of these wealthy families and you go and you say, well, you're so smart, I'd like to offer you a good job. They will look at you like you're crazy. They're like, what? That's like going up to Michelle Obama and saying, you know, girl, I could take you out to Red Lobster, get you Cheddar biscuits, but you're going to have to give me some at the end of the night. She's going to look at you like, Negro, who do you think you talking to? Like, she's like, I'm not that kind of girl. You need to go talk to you need to go over to Magic City with all of that, right? So there's some families where they don't even think about sending their children to work for anybody, right? Especially not somebody who hates them. That's something you've been trained to believe is a model of success, and that is a failure. Now, let's see here. Kemp says he's an AMC Gorilla Gang. We hold it. Okay, well, go ahead, Gorilla Gang. Well, God bless you. I hope you make $1 trillion. I'm not no AMC ape. There's nothing about that company that makes me want to be that loyal to them. But I have made money from AMC, so I am in complete support of your gorilla approach. I just hope that as you're doing the gorilla thing, that you're not getting overly emotionally invested when it comes to these companies. These companies don't love you. Adam Aaron, the CEO of AMC, is the ultimate pimp. He sees all this momentum. He's playing it like a flute. He knows exactly what to say, and he's doing all the things to get the AMC bros excited. But I also listen to the analysts who literally tell me that AMC is in deep, deep, deep trouble. They've got way too much debt, and the $5 billion that they need to make to become profitable next year, the chances of them making $5 billion are slim to none. So, but what you might get is, you know, if you get more people to become apes, it becomes like multi-level marketing almost. If you get more people if you recruit more apes who will buy your overpriced $40 stock for $45, then you can make money. That's what they call the bigger fool theory. That's what they call that's a theory. So if you can find a bigger fool, if you can find a bigger ape, like you the biggest gorilla, you the big gorilla, and you find somebody who wants to be a King Kong ape who's willing to buy your $40 stock for 45 or 50, and you can sell it to them, then you win. So I hope that you make money. And I'm not making fun of you for being an ape. I'm just encouraging you to don't be falling in love with these. You don't fall in love with companies. Don't fall in love with politicians. Don't fall in love with corporations or politicians, because they will use you and milk you and take all your money. So just be smart. All right. So let's see here. Did you see, let's see, Ho says, did you see how Africa and the African diaspora dominated the Olympics? Yeah. I think that Alicia and I were saying that we should have like the DOT, the Diaspora Olympic team, right? So the DOT, there's actually somebody called Black Dot that I really like on YouTube. If anybody knows Black Dot, send me his information. I think Black Dot, he doesn't have guests on his show, but I think Black Dot should have me on his show because I like the guy a lot and I'd love to meet him, and I'd have him on my show. Everybody check out Black Dot's podcast. My brother does a great job, and I love it because his father's son, he's a Black man. He talks to his son. They make sense. He breaks it down in an honest way. It's one of my favorite shows. Alicia and I listen to it all the time, and I have a lot of respect for the brother. But anyway, I think there should be a DOT, the Diaspora Olympic team, and we get all the Black people around the world and take them from all these European countries. Because when you see like some Kenyan looking dude running for the Netherlands, come on now, you know what was going on with that, right? Or even Athing Mo, who is an absolute badass. She won the 800 meters at the Olympics. Probably could have competed to win the 400. I think she should have ran the 4. I don't know why she didn't. I guess it's probably scheduling. But Athing Mo was one of the most impressive athletes at the Olympics. You know, but she looks, I mean, she looks like Mother Africa. Like she's a beautiful, tall, dark, beautiful woman. Looks like she's right out of Kenya or, you know, or something. And she don't belong to the United States, you know, but she's amazing though. She was great to watch. My favorite other favorite athletes. I love Lyles, just Joseph Lyles or Noah Lyles. I like Noah Lyles. I was surprised he didn't win. What really surprised me was how America didn't win its first track and field gold medal until like a white lady threw the discus, like way into the Olympic. Like we didn't win anything in the men's 100, 200, the women's 100, 200, the 4x1. We got beat in almost everything. And in the men, the men's 4x1 was really embarrassing because they just got outran. They didn't even make the final. And it wasn't because they dropped the baton. Usually when the U.S. doesn't make the final in the 4x1, it's because there was a disaster. Somebody dropped the baton, something bad happened. They just got out sprinted, which was really, really humiliating. But they did good at the relays. I liked your boy Kai Rai Benjamin, who ran against a crazy white boy from Norway who literally just ran an insane world record in the 400 meter hurdles. And then I love watching Sydney McLaughlin against Delilah Muhammad. Yeah, that was really cool because both of them broke the world record to beat each other. And I just think that rivalry was epic. But anyway, let me keep going. Let's see. OFC, they should be, brother. They need emotion, but men shouldn't act on it. They should act on logic. Yeah, men need to have more logic. That's how you succeed. You can't be emotional all the time. What are your thoughts on Lizzo? I don't want to get too started on Lizzo, but I'll say Lizzo is unfortunately, she's paid by big white corporations to promote obesity to the Black community, which kills lots of Black people. And also she denigrates the image of the Black woman by basically encouraging little girls to become big fat hoes and to somehow disguise that as women's empowerment. So the simple formula here is that basically, if you look at Lil Nas X, Cardi B, and Lizzo, they're all in the same category. They're basically people who debase and defame the image of Black people around the world. And their cover is the white liberal ideology of individual freedom, right? So they use something like feminism as a cloak to say, you know, that's why I was explaining to your 7-year-old daughter how to suck a penis, right? I was on TikTok, you know, dropping it like it's hot or whatever, and doing things that are clearly inappropriate for children. And my cover is whenever someone like some big asshole like Boyce Watkins speaks up and says, "Hey, I got daughters, chill out with that." Oh, well, he's a Black man, so we're gonna give him the standard Black man label of being toxic masculinity. And so, but I just learned not to care about that stuff. I think the best response to that political correctness nonsense is to just ignore it because it's really got to the point where it's a joke. And Lil Nas X uses LGBT rights as cover to justify this idea that he's got a bunch of naked Black men twerking in prison. Like prison is a wonderful place. But what I do is you flip it and you look at the analogy. You say, what if I owned a record label and I got a bunch of Jewish guys to go twerk naked in a concentration camp? How would the Jewish community feel about that? Because prisons are the Black concentration camp. You just don't see it that way because you're used to suffering. You're used to Black people having a life that is unimaginable for anybody else. But when you put it in the context of saying, what if we did this to Jews? What if we did this to Asian people? People say, oh, yeah, that would be horrible to do it to them, right? But for Black people, it's like, oh, well, yeah, but at least they getting paid, yo. At least they making money. Why are you hating on somebody who making money? Like that ignorant nonsense. You got to learn to ignore that. So, you know, they can keep doing what they do because white people will keep paying them to do it. I'm going to keep doing what I do. That's it, period. Like, I'm not going to stop. And eventually the world will understand. I've seen this. I've been in this game long enough to see things go full circle. 25 years ago, I started bitching and screaming and hollering about how college athletes should be paid. I have articles from 1996 basically explaining in a very direct, logical way why it makes absolutely no sense that you can extract $1 billion out of the Black community and then ruin these guys' education because they can't go to school because they're so busy with football practice and all that. And the white coaches are getting rich, but Black people aren't getting anything. I've been saying that consistently. My message was very consistent all through the 90s, through the 2000s, through the 2010s. And now finally the world kind of gets it. Not because of what I said, but I was part of that little army and you know, just saying, okay, one day people will get this. Well, the same thing with hip hop. You know, there was a consistent challenge with hip hop. And back in 2013, go Google it. There was a little thing with Lil Wayne that happened with Lil Wayne and a Mountain Dew contract. And I was very happy that we ruined his world tour, that we got Mountain Dew to cancel Lil Wayne. T.I. is my favorite artist, but I didn't care. I didn't give a shit. Like, you can't, you know, you have to, you know, you're associated with this dude, and this dude said some things that were very disrespectful to black people in his lyrics. I'm not going to go through the whole story. You can look it up. It's all it's on the internet somewhere. And I know Tyler, the creator, is still mad about it. He's every now and then he still flares up and he says something like, "I hate Boyce Watkins," or whatever. Fuck it, I don't care. You know, you're not gonna go and, you know, because I know you're happy that you think that success means that these people are paying you money and white people love you, and you think that that means you're a successful black person. But I think we have to have zero tolerance in certain areas. Like, I think that you just kind of have to do you and just let that be what it's going to be, you know. And I think with hip hop, with the Lizzo, Lil Nas X, Cardi B type thing, maybe they're not hearing me. Maybe they're acting like they're ignoring people like me. I don't care. I'm going to be consistent, because you can't, you know, and maybe it takes time to get to this point, but you can't just go along with things because it's cool. Like, you can't. You know, these are things that are hurting people. These are things that are destroying your community. This is why your community's falling backward. Do you know that, excuse me, black people have made no progress whatsoever? Again, all these white liberals talking about how you have all these things to celebrate. What the hell you got to celebrate? That you got closer to white folks, like, because they're some fucking gold standard? Well, now that white people will let me go into the store with them, that means my life is better. There's nothing magical about white people. There's no such thing as white boy magic or white girl magic, right? But yet people convince you that you've made all this progress. What fucking progress have you made? Have you economically, you've gone backward. Black wealth is lower than it was 50 years ago relative to white people. What progress have you made educationally? There are tens of thousands, almost 100,000 black children that graduate from these mediocre, crappy, shitty schools every year who can't even fucking read. You're 18 years old. You can't read. Are you kidding me? What were you doing all that time? You were in school 7 hours a day. What were you doing all that time? Oh, you were learning about Benjamin Franklin and Abraham Lincoln, right? Okay, and then you become a slave and you don't know why. Well, they trained you to be a slave. You didn't get reparations for slavery, but you got preparations for slavery. Okay, you got prepared to be a slave. Third, so wealth, no progress. Education, no progress. Your families are worse off now than they were 50 years ago. Your grandparents had a better marriage and a better family than you have right now, because everybody's teaching black men to hate black women, and black women hate black men, and don't nobody want to take care of the kids. Nobody give a shit about the children and the families and the community. Next thing you know, your kids are growing up all fucked up and doing all kinds of crazy stuff. So clearly these people are making you stupid and crazy. They're making you into a pack of losers. I don't want to be a loser. I don't want to be a loser. And so I don't, you know, I don't care. I don't think you should care. And it's fine. Like, Lizzo can twerk her little fat chubby ass all day, and I'm going to call it out every goddamn time. You know, you got talent. Like, you could have done so many great things. There's so many talented women behind you who chose not to go and become obese and twerk and simulate the sucking of a white man's penis in order to become successful. I'm speaking for those women. There are lots of women out here. Do you know how many talented women there are who could sing just as well as Lizzo, who just said, I'm not going to play the flute and twerk at the same time? What does me twerking while I play the flute have to do with me showing that I can sing? They want you to be a goddamn clown. They want you for the minstrel show. They like that. They're like, oh, there you go. There's a reason why Denzel Washington did Malcolm X, and they didn't even mention Malcolm X at the Academy Awards. I don't know if anybody's old enough to remember that. Denzel did an excellent performance in Malcolm X, killed it, nailed it. They didn't even mention that movie at the Academy Awards. But when he did Training Day, and he played that dead, dirty, corrupt cop that was like, oh, nigga, no motherfucker, nigga, I'm King Kong in this bitch, fuck you, motherfucker. When he started doing all that stereotypical coon shit, then suddenly, oh, it's brilliant. Oh, we must give him an Oscar, right? Oh, that was so real. Oh, but it wasn't real when he was playing an intelligent black man. That's not real. But when he's playing a thug, that becomes real to you, because that's how you see black people. So that's why this becomes a wealth conversation, because you have to fight fire with fire. You have to fight power with power. So rather than simply getting mad about what white people are doing, you have to focus 10 times more energy on what you're doing, right? Focus 10 times more energy on saying, Okay, you're going to do what you do. You're going to say what you say, but we're going to say what we're saying over here. We're going to do what we're doing over here. You can raise your families however you want, but we're going to do what we're going to do over here. And it doesn't just apply to white people or racist people. It applies to the Negro naysayers too, or the black folks that just want to do something different. Okay, you go over there and you train your kids to grow up and get a job and go deep in college debt and work for white people and be mad about racism and microaggressions for their whole entire life. And we're going to go over here and we're going to make sure our kids know the basics of things like investing and real estate and how to be a good father and husband and what it means to really be a contributor to the black community. That's what we're going to do over here. And I think that you can do that without necessarily being mad at anybody else. But I do think that when you start seeing cultural influences infiltrating your space, I think it's okay, and it's up to you to really say something about it. So when I speak on Lizzo, I'm really speaking as a father of daughters. I don't want my daughters to want to grow up and become big fat hoes. You know, I don't want my daughters to hear Lizzo in her last song. She did a song, and it was a good song. She's a good singer, a good rapper. It was with Cardi B, and she's like, I fucked him, I fucked him, I fucked him. I don't want that to be my daughter's story. I'm not saying my daughters aren't going to grow up and have a normal sex life, but I see that world. Think about this. Think about women, like think about that poor girl that goes and wants to be like this crazy hoe at Magic City, and she's meeting all these terrible, creepy men. Next thing you know, she's getting beat and molested. She's hooked on drugs. Her whole life falls apart. She's living on a goddamn stripper pole. And then they blame it on guys like us. They blame it on black men don't protect black women. Black men don't. No, I was protecting your ass when I spoke up about those influences that made you think that this lifestyle even makes sense for you. So there's fathers that are really speaking up for these little girls that want to protect them, but somehow you're putting us in the bucket of the same men that exploited you. There are some really bad men out here. I talk to my daughters all the time. I say, look, there are some bad men out here, and it is my job as a good man to protect you from the bad men. So you know, but it becomes frustrating because some women are trained to look up to and admire the bad men. Like, why would a woman ever want to sleep with a guy like Future? This guy, well, first of all, he's going to give you every STD in the book because he don't use no damn condoms. He got all those fucking kids everywhere. He literally, the other day, I think he said something to his one of his kids' mothers. He texted his 8-year-old son and said, your mama's a hoe. Like, what kind of sick man does stuff like that? Like, you know, so my thing is that it's I'm not going to say it's frustrating. It can be. It's not really frustrating. It's more like, if you want to know what I see and what I'm kind of battling against, I'm battling against the fact that I think that we still have yet to understand that that there is a reason that our condition is not changing. And a lot of times it's because the things that you are cheering for are the very things that are hurting you. And it requires a certain level of awareness to say, yo, wait a minute. That maybe that's not so good. Maybe introducing 7-year-old girls to sex is not going to be good for them, because when they get 12, they're going to be trying to go get some, and they're going to run into R. Kelly at the playground. And then next thing you know, your daughter's in some crazy situation. But then again, they're going to turn around. Well, black men don't protect black. We're fucking protecting you by keeping these predators out in the first place. So stop that. Stop making yourself a victim and then claiming victimhood later on and acting like it's my fault. I didn't do it. I'm done. I'm sorry. Thank you for letting me get that out. This is on my mind. All right. Anyway, if you can hit the thumbs up button, I would really appreciate that very much. And in case you haven't noticed yet, I tend to do things differently on the weekends than I do during the week. During the week, I'm more in a professional mindset, but here it's just kind of like I like to let loose and just kind of have a real conversation with you, and I think that's fun. Does penny stocks help your portfolio? I don't agree. I don't buy any penny stocks hardly. I don't like penny stocks. Hey, the real sis says, greetings, brother Boyce. Sorry I'm late to the party. That's okay. You're never late. I'm glad you're here, and I love you, and I appreciate you very, very much. Nathaniel, will it be a wise choice to average down in idealnomics? I don't know what that question means, Nathaniel. I'm sorry, brother. I wish I could. To average down in idealnomics. I don't even know that term idealnomics. I think I know what it probably means, but I've never heard of it. So I apologize for not knowing that. Where does the urge to become successful come from? Ask Andrew. I don't know. I think it comes from different people. And it comes in, and you have different measures of what it means to be successful. And I just didn't want to be a loser. I never wanted to come up short, and I think that it's just, certain things that get put in you as a kid, or maybe things that you just innately have inside of you. And so for me, I don't know, I just didn't want to fail. So I kind of like winning. Winning is fun for me. But maybe I'm sure there's some pathology. My wife is a therapist, so I'm sure she can link it to some inadequacy that occurred in my childhood or something. But I don't give a shit. I like it. I like winning. I like knowing that I came to do a job and I achieved that goal. And by the way, I do have a life class on stuff like that. I literally documented like a lot of my viewpoints on success and how to be successful, how to deal with everything that can get in your way, from your own mindset to haters to setbacks and all that stuff. And so if you're interested, you can actually, the life class is free. You can go to blackkeystogreatness.com. That's blackkeystogreatness.com. You also get to join us in our book club on Wednesdays if you want to come. We're reading a book called Black Labor, White Wealth by Dr. Claude Anderson, and we're going through this book very carefully. We are on page 49. And every week, every Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, we get together and I read directly from the book and break it down for you. So we've done about 7 of these lectures so far. So if that's something of interest to you, feel free to join. It's free, and you can bring your kids, and it's a lot of fun. Do I have kids? I have one biological child, and I have several godchildren, and godchildren, stepchildren, all that. But those are all my kids. So I don't do god kids and step kids and all. Those are just my kids. The best way to invest besides stocks. I like the idea of starting a business, Gibson. I think that's been the most fun. But I only like to run businesses that are based on things I'm passionate about. That's it. I don't like to work on a business if I'm not passionate about it. But I'll invest in it if it's someone else's passion. I'll invest in that, but I don't want to actually do the day-to-day, because you can only do the day-to-day in usually 1, maybe 2 businesses. You can't do day-to-day in like 10 businesses. So, if I'm passionate about something, I'll put my time into it, because my time is more valuable than money. Time is always more valuable than money. Let's see here. Let's see. What are your thoughts about the current leadership and violence in the city of Chicago? I am not a fan of Lori Lightfoot. We call her Gory Leadfoot. That's our nickname for Lori Lightfoot. We're not a fan of Mayor Lori Lightfoot. So Gory Leadfoot is not a good leader for the city. She's, just Chicago is terrible because it's segregated. You have economic apartheid. The north side and the downtown Chicago is all wealthy. You go to the west side and the south side, it's all torn up, kids getting shot. And everybody talking all this Black Lives Matter stuff. Well, where are you when those children are being shot? You're nowhere. You're just sitting here idolizing one guy who got shot by the cops, and that's fine. But my God, there's like 50 kids that got shot the same week and you ain't say nothing about them. That Black Lives Matter stuff was a joke to me. Hey, Marquise. What do you think about covered call ETFs for retirement income? Yeah, covered calls are good. Just be careful, because you can lose money with covered calls. If you buy stocks that pay the highest premium, they also have the highest volatility. So those stock prices can drop. So you may want to get some put options to protect your investment. Firstshareofstock.com. That's the URL, firstshareofstock.com. Your husband is your son, so is your father. Okay. Well, I don't have a husband, so I think you must be talking to someone in the chat. What's he saying is sharp and it hurts because it hits home, but he's right. Yeah, in Kentucky, they have a saying that the hit dog always hollers. And there was this old white guy at University of Kentucky 25 years ago who said, Boyce, I think I know what you are. And I said, what? He said, you're a provocateur. And I said, what? And he said, you provoke people. You hit the nail right on the head when they get mad, and that's what's going to happen. And I guess that's something I don't know. I think I still do that. And I apologize if I hurt your feelings or make you mad. Just don't take it personally. Just assume I'm just an asshole. I try my best to be a nice person, but sometimes I don't sound as nice as I want to be. But sometimes it's just frustration. If you're Black and you're not frustrated, James Baldwin said this. He said, if you're Black he said something like, to be Black and conscious is to be in a constant state of fury, or something like that, right? And that's true. I mean, if you're Black and you're conscious of what's going on, you're gonna be mad a lot, and sometimes I'm just an angry Black man. I'm just pissed. It's like, come on, man. Like, what is this nonsense? I don't want to do this anymore. I'm tired of losing. I don't want to be in the losing team. I want to win. So that's what it is. How much money do I need to get started investing stocks? Ask Robin. Robin is my mother's name, by the way. And actually Burns. I had a girlfriend with the last name Burns over 20 years ago. So Robin Burns. You don't need any amount of money. You can get started with $5. Go to firstshareofstock.com, and I'll show you in about 11 minutes how to buy your first share of stock. And you can do that with as little as $5. That's firstshareofstock.com. And also, by the way, those of you that want to come to the All Black National Convention, you can get your hotel room at a massive discount. You can go to abnchotel.com. Put the URL on the screen. Feel free to go ahead and put and reserve your room if you want to. It's at the end of October 29th through November 1st. We're going to do breakout sessions in a lot of areas, from crypto to real estate, hotel investing, investment clubs, everything. We're also going to do fun stuff like speed dating, speed networking, group-based investment club gatherings and things like that. We're going to have panels on everything from politics to relationships. We're literally bringing the whole gang. We're bringing relationship experts. We're bringing economics experts. We're bringing people that great entertainers. We're having a masquerade ball. We're doing the Black Excellence Awards. We're going to do a lot of fun stuff. And the resort is beautiful, 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 beautiful. It's got 9 restaurants, and it's built for like family activities. So if you're single, it's great because you can meet other B1 people that you can link up with and become friends with. Maybe people you can date. That's totally fine. And also it's family friendly. So if you have kids, bring your whole family. Bring your investment club, like come as a group, bring your church, because we're really big on group-based economics, and we're really based on bringing people together. And so if you'd like to join us, feel free. You can get your hotel at abnchotel.com. All right, so let me see here. Next question. Considering you are a Powernomics person, do you think it's better to start my own business or mission, or is it better to collaborate with others in the beginning? I think you should do both. I think that you can have your own and still connect with others, because what happens is when you gather, you're bringing together ideas, energy, resources, right? So maybe I don't have the cash, but I've got the idea, and you got the cash to back my idea, and we've got the trust because we're part of a group and we trust each other, we know each other, and all these other things, and we're operating on the same frequency, same code, because group connection does not work without trust. If someone feels like they're going to get violated, they're not going to trust and want to partner with anyone, right? So that's why you have to have codes of conduct in order for a community to prosper. Right. So if you're on code, I'm on code, we come together, you bring in the capital, I bring in the idea, somebody else helps bring in maybe some of the labor. We make a partnership. We're more likely to win as a group than we are to win by ourselves. So don't try to do it all by yourself. Let's see. Lila Lewis Peace says, Dr. Boyce, do you and Dr. Alicia intermittent fast for weight control? Yeah, we do. Alicia bought a fast, this big box of stuff we got to eat. And I don't like it, because I'm super hungry the whole week, but it's really good because once it's done, I feel lighter. And the older I get, the more I realize I can't eat what I used to eat. So, and I go running every 2 days, and I do 3 miles, and that's what keeps me from getting fat. That's how I lost a lot of my weight. So wherever you are, just do a little bit more than what you did before. And that's going to make a difference in your life. I guarantee it. Cabernet, do you think it's better to finance your home or pay cash if you can afford it? I think it's better to finance, because I don't think you want to lock all your cash up in your house. You could probably put it into other places that will give you more access to it, and also give you a greater ROI, and also better diversification, right? So if you have, let's say your total net worth, or you have 100,000 in cash, I wouldn't just go lock it all up in a house, right? I would have it some in stocks, maybe some in cash, and then some of it in the real estate. Okay, kind of mix it up a little bit. Let's see here. Del Monte says, how can I find funding to buy a semi truck? I think you have to find people that want to invest in that kind of thing, and I think if you have experience or something that will give them confidence that the investment's going to work out. I know people like myself, that have some money, and they're like, oh yeah, sure, I'll invest in the business. I'll put up the money if you go do the work. And that can work. So actually, that's one good thing you can get at the All Black National Convention if you're interested. Actually, is you could probably find good investment partners, people that because there are some people there that have millions and millions and millions of dollars, right? And some of them that just have a few $1,000s. And so, like the Black Crypto Club, we've got people in there that have money they want to invest, and they're looking for good places to put their money. So I would just kind of look around for that and see what's out there. And then also there's the other option of saving up some of the money, putting some money down, seeing how much you need. Start off by figuring out how much you need to get started, and then start working on getting the money. I would not start with a gigantic number though, like something in the millions or something. Like that's really hard to do. Try to see what you can figure out how you can get started with less than 100,000. Then you're more likely to find investors. All right, so let's see here. Who lobbies for Black people in the White House? Nobody. Let me see. Let's see. Terrell says, you are so right about interracial relationships. Yeah, I wouldn't be the same guy if I was married to a white woman. It doesn't mean I don't make fun of anybody who marries white. Like if you have a white spouse and you want to come to the convention, don't think I'm going to look at you funny. I'm not like that. I'm just not. I don't really have a lot of energy to hate people for the personal choices they make in their life. I'm not a fan of that. So I don't judge you if you're gay or straight, or if you're a feminist, or if you're a Democrat or Republican or whatever. If you're B1 and you're looking to add value to the Black community, then I can find common ground with you, even if we're different. And as long as what a person's doing isn't completely destructive. Like I have to talk about what like is happening with like some of the rappers, not because I hate the rappers. I don't even really care about the rappers in terms of attacking them. I'm not attacking them. It's not about them. I'm talking to the people that pay you. I'm talking to the people because I know that you're just doing what they're paying you to do. If they told you to do something different, you would do something different. Whatever they tell you to do, that's what you're going to do. Right. So I'm trying to go to the people who are paying you money to do these embarrassing, ridiculous things and saying like, that's racism. Like people don't understand that's a form of racism and white supremacy. They control the media. So they control the images that get projected into your children. And then next thing you know, your children are emulating the behavior that they're seeing on TV. If a Black scholar with the keys to the universe, let's say somebody was the next Marcus Garvey or the next Francis Cress-Welsing, came to visit an elementary school full of Black kids. And let's say Cardi B was in the other room and the kids had a choice. Do you want to go talk to this Francis Cress-Welsing person who can teach you how to be powerful, how to be intelligent, how to be successful? Or do you want to go and listen to Cardi B? Who do you think they're going to pick? The majority of the kids are going to want to go listen to Cardi B, right? And that's your problem. They're doing a trick. This is something they've done all throughout the world. If you look at the history of white folks all throughout the world, I'm not talking about all white people, I'm talking about the bad ones. If you look at the history of the white supremacists all throughout the world, they have always sought to control the minds of darker people through that kind of manipulation. What they used to do, excuse me, with Native Americans was they would they would go to a village where they would say, okay, how do we get these Indian people to stop being Indians? How do we get them to basically become white people with brown skin? So what they would do is they would take the children and they would take the children away to a special school, right? And in that school, they would tell them, if we catch you speaking your native language, we're going to punish you. If we catch you wearing any ceremonial tribal dress, we're going to punish you. But we will reward you if you learn our language and learn our culture and learn our history. And so then they would educate this child in their own image, put the child deliberately, plant the child like a poison seed into the village, and they would give him all the money and all the power, so that all the little poor Indian kids would look at the kid that has the most resources, the most money, and they say, "Ooh, I want to be like him because he has more money than my Uncle Sitting Bull. Who knows all the culture, who knows what it means to be Indian. Who wants to be Indian when it's better to be white, right? Who wants to be what I was born as when it's better to be this thing over here where all the money's going into this person's pocket?" So effectively, that's how they would inject white culture, and it's economic warfare. They would use their economic power to inject their culture into the tribe and kill the old culture. So this is what they do with the rappers. They take the most ignorant, most self-destructive people they can find, the most like literally they find that man who ain't got no respect for Black women, who has no respect for himself, who don't want to take care of his kids, who is incredibly superficial and materialistic, who will argue with you all day because he bought a Gucci watch and you didn't. Who will kill another Black person in a second, who will stay high and drunk whenever possible, and who will literally do everything he can to destroy his life and can't even fucking read. And they will give this Negro $100 million or whatever, or 50 million or 10 million. And then he gonna come through the hood shining. Right, shining. They were driving a whip, pulling up in a foreign with the butterfly doors and got the chains and the women and the little boy, the little Black boy who got an A on his math test and didn't nobody give a shit because he's not dribbling the basketball and he's not busting a rap. He's gonna say, man, man, I made good grades in school, but that's corny. But this dude, all the women like him. He's got all the money. He's got everybody listens to him. Why would I want to go over here and be educated when I could just be like this motherfucker over here, right? And that's how they steal away your talent. That's how they do the brain drain. The black brain drain occurs every single day. I have right in front of my eyes seen intelligent black children who could have gone on and become billionaires like Mark Zuckerberg literally deflate their intelligence so they could fit in to an artificially created culture that glorifies ignorance over intelligence, that glorifies destruction over progress, that glorifies materialism over substance, and they try to fit right in. Like, why in the hell would you want to go and listen to Dr. Boyce Watkins when you can go kick it on the Shade Room where they talking about some STD infected, fucked up human being who can't have a healthy relationship with nobody, who is on his way to jail, who ain't even taking care of his damn kids, who can't even spell the word dog. But you looking up to that because that nigga shining, because he got money in his pocket. That's literally it. That's literally the factor that makes you think that this is success. And so, again, this requires a type of consciousness that I believe most people just don't have. I think that this gets having these conversations is hard. It's overly deep. I'm not 25 years old. I'm 50, right? So it takes wisdom to see this. You have to, look at the building from all different angles to really see what's going on. And so I understand when people don't get me. I understand when Kwame Brown said, "You sound like an elitist when you talk about intelligent black people." I understood that. I probably do. I believe deeply in black excellence. I want you to be elite. I want you to be your best. I believe you're innately elite people. They just trained you to be inferior. You got taught to be inferior. And this is not coincidental. This is not accidental. This is very deliberate, very strategic. So that's why we're strategically reading books like Black Labor, White Wealth, because Dr. Claude Anderson is your diamond out here that literally has dissected the white supremacist system at a scientific level that will allow you to counter all the chaos that you're seeing all around you. Okay, so I hope that makes sense to you. I hope that this helps you. And I got to go. It's late at night. My wife is waiting for me. So love you guys. And it was fun. And by the way, if you want to support the platform, we do have a Patreon. It's intelligentblackpeople.com. I don't talk about it very much, but if you'd like to join the Patreon, if because I appreciate it, it helps us to do what we're going to do, because we are building, like, I'm 100% empire builder. We're totally, like, we employ people, we're creating jobs, we want to buy buildings. like literally in LA, we're about to buy some property and build a whole studio there, but it's going to be like a studio educational space. Like, we're doing it. We're literally making moves on real estate deals in Philly, Houston, and LA, just in case you're wondering. Chicago, not yet, but Chicago could be on the radar soon. So we're making things happen. We're making moves. We ain't playing with these fools. We're here to win. And they're not ready for us. That's why they get mad. They can just stay mad because we can't lose, because we're too smart, too capable. If we don't win, our kids will win. If our kids don't win, our grandkids will win, because these fools are thinking about 2 weeks in advance. We're planning for the next 150 years. That's how gangster we are, and we will win this battle. I guarantee you. So do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button, hit the share button, hit the subscribe button. Love you guys. It was great talking to you. And also the blackbosschannel.com. That's where Jeff Licey Jr. tomorrow morning is going to interview Ronnie Baker, who was in the Olympics. So feel free to take a look at that. And also, it's a great platform. It's where black men, Nathaniel Jordan, the Minister of Wellness, Dr. Adrian Carter, who's a great therapist. There's a lot of brothers on there that have great ideas. And I encourage you to hear what black men have to say, and not just the stereotypical black men, but I'm talking about the men that really care about the community. And the Black Boss Channel is where they're at. And you can check it out. All right, guys, I'm out of here. Have a good day. Love you. And I'll see you soon. Take care. Peace.